what's the matter? You don't like my house? My house stinks? That's right, it stinks!
Just like Rocky's house, this is Timmons, New York Giants Straight Talk, powered by Online Big Blue LLC. The New York Giants secondary stinks. Oh, we need to get into depth. We need to get into detail. We need to talk about this. It's not just a Shane Bowen issue. It's a talent issue. That's one of the things. Also want to go, of course, thank the mighty FanDuel. FanDuel, this show is brought to you by FanDuel, presented to you by FanDuel, number one sportsbook in America. We're going to talk about FanDuel in a minute as well. But the New York Giants secondary for the last couple years has been putrid. There has been times that players have tried to disguise the stench, but by coming up with a big interception, coming up with a big tackle. But the problem is, to the astute fan, such as myself, we look at everything. We don't just look at, oh, he's got 9 tackles and they're all solo. We also got the fact that that quarterback completed 7 of 8 passes for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. You need to look at all the body of work. And this secondary all year long, outside of Dallas, and I think Dallas has the worst secondary, that the Giants are probably directly behind Dallas. There was an event that happened at Pearl Harbor.
What? Over? Did you say over? Nothing is over until we decide it is. Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? Hell no!
German? Forget it, he's rolling.
Like the Giants secondary, we're not rolling, but it always is bombs away. You have the likes of Tyler Nubin. You have the likes of Cordell Flott. You have the likes of the wonderful Drew Phillips, who everyone's gaga over for him. You have the $54 million man in Paulson Adebo. You have Deonte Banks, that former first rounder. And you look at this secondary and you're just like, I for a year now, 2 years now, I could never figure out what everyone was so enamored with some of these players. And we're going to go through the players. But right now, I think the biggest issue is we all know that the main issue is Shane Bowen. It goes Shane Bowen and then secondary talent, because we don't have as much talent as people think we have. Shane Bowen, though, we've talked about this in the past, going back to his days in Tennessee when he was the first quasi untitled defensive coordinator that first season. That I believe the Tennessee went 11-5, but they had the worst defense in the league. So what did they do? They brought in Jim Schwartz to be his mentor. Jim Schwartz talked about it in the Daily Tennessee, and that his whole job those 2 years in Tennessee was to mentor Shane Bowen and be a second set of eyes. And the secondary improved for those 2 years. And then, of course, Schwartz takes the job in Cleveland. The secondary goes back downhill. Bowen has never been known in the history of his tenure in the league to have the ability to cultivate a secondary. And I think that's one of the biggest issues, and that is the current issue that we're seeing. Now, it also doesn't help that I don't think we have secondary talent, or talent in the secondary. Not as much as people think. We're going to start with, of course, the mighty FanDuel. FanDuel, the number one sports book in America. You got to love FanDuel. We love FanDuel here. You want to be, I can't deny it. I can't lie. I love FanDuel. New customers of the NFL bet $5, get $300 in bonus bets if you win. They have casino games. I love the huff and puff spin. I have to admit, I do play. New players get 500 free bonus spins. We have to take a look at what FanDuel right now. I don't even have to look at what FanDuel right now has the Eagles line with the Giants with the Eagles at home. It is 7.5 points. It's a 1 p.m. game on Sunday. I think 7.5 points is a fair spread, because I think it's going to be a little different game because of the fact that if you take a look at actually how that game broke out in MetLife, there's so many things that the Giants did right, but there's so many things that the Eagles did wrong. And they basically left 14 points on the tail with the overthrow of Devontae Smith and the bad throw to A.J. Brown. But if you want to do sports fantasy, like I said, you want to do racing, you want to do a little bit of research, you want to watch FanDuel TV, go to FanDuel. That's FanDuel.com, number one sports book in America. Right now, I want to look at some of the talent the Giants have in the secondary and some of the overtime and over-evaluation that fans have gone through since last year. And I keep telling people, you cannot judge a rookie class off of one season, because a lot of times that rookie class, as we know, they look good, but then things go to shit when the league adjusts. And the first player we're going to look at is the mighty Tyler Nubin. Oh, Tyler Nubin at 6'2", 210 pounds out of Minnesota. He was the best safety when he was taken. What was he taking? 49th overall? He was the best safety coming out of college, which wasn't saying much to me. Said it before at 6'2", 210 pounds. I've said it after watching his film that he takes bad angles, that he's not the most fleet of foot, that guys are going to get behind him. But he had an okay rookie season. I'm sorry, he was taken second round, 47th overall, of course. He had an okay rookie season, but now the wheels have fallen completely off the bus with Tyler Nubin. He has taken so many bad angles. It's not even funny. He is responsible, of course, for giving up 2 big touchdowns. If you take a look at his pass coverage, I always wait till Wednesday because I got a friend that works for a service that provides advanced stats to college. So what he does for me is he plugs in players that I want to see, so I get advanced stats on certain players. So what I did is I basically gave him 4 giant players and said, give me their advanced stats. Right now, the league is completing 18 of 23 passes for 78.3 yards against Tyler Nubin for over 203 yards. The average completion is 11.3 yards against Tyler Nubin. Is 11.3 yards. The average target downfield on Tyler Nubin is almost 9 yards a target. He's given up. In New Orleans. I love it because if you go back to New Orleans and Philadelphia, the league was 7 for 7 for 152 yards and 2 touchdowns. He has a tendency of getting held out of spot. He has a tendency of not taking the correct angle. I've said this before with Tyler Nubin. He should be a quasi in the box linebacker for the Giants, kind of in the roles as Pepper and Logan Ryan under the Patrick Graham defense. I think that would work extremely well for him. But the problem is this: we don't look at it that way. We don't look at a guy that plays over 80% of the snaps that he's playing out of position. He is a liability. We've talked about this. I've talked about this for 2 years now, or a year and change. He is a liability in reference to letting people get deep. First thing they taught me in safety school, because like I said, everyone knows I played linebacker and safety in college. First thing they taught you, the first thing they teach you in Pop Warner, especially when you are a safety, do not let anyone get behind you. That is your one sole job and responsibility as a safety. You keep the play in front of you. How many times this season and parts of last season did we watch Tyler Nubin take bad angles going after the wide receiver or the tight end? How many times? He's not astute enough to cover the tight end. He's not astute enough to cover a speed running back. He's going to get you the tackles, but like we said before, he's got 27 tackles right now. But when you have all these tackles, it's because you're making the tackle the majority of the time after the catch. And we don't want to see that. And this is a guy that plays 96 and 98% of the time, and he is a liability, and we've watched the big play liability against him. We got to get to everyone's favorite player but mine. But now people are starting to finally come around. That's Drew Phillips out of Kentucky. I didn't like the day. I don't like Kentucky players. I don't know why. And I've watched them play. And I've watched a lot of Kentucky players play. And there's probably some good players that came out of Kentucky. I can't think of any off the top of my head. But I just don't like guys that come out of Kentucky. 5'11", 180 pounds. He's supposed to be our CB2 when we took him 70th overall in that 3rd round of the 2024 draft. Andre Phillips with all the big tackles. Oh, this man is just a tackling machine. He had 71 tackles last year. He had 37 this year so far. Wide margin of solo tackles to assists. He's got 31 solo tackles, only 6 assists. He's a tackling fucking machine. He comes up with that nice interception when you want to see it. The only problem is, well, he can't cover. He can't cover a bed with a blanket. He'll have his moments, but right now the league is completing 33 of 49 passes for 67.5% completion rate, and he's already given up 385 yards at 11.7 yards per completion. The average target in the air is almost 8 yards. Going back to New Orleans and Philadelphia, those quarterbacks were 7 for 7 for 106 yards. Against Denver, they were 5 for 7. 71 yards, gave up 86 yards He's already given up 2 touchdowns this year. His best game was against the Chargers when they were only 2 for 7. But after that, but before and after that, he gave up 75%, 71%, 66%, 100% completion percentage, 100% completion percentage, 71.6% completion percentage. Yes, he has the 31 tackles, but you know what? We've said this before. He has the Aaron Robinson syndrome. You don't make the tackle after the catch. Your job vis-a-vis Darrelle Revis or maybe Deion Sanders, you can go through a season with only 30 tackles if you stop them from catching the ball. We're also not going to talk about the fact that he has a missed tackle percentage of 10%. He has a missed tackle percentage going into the last 2 games of 25% against Philadelphia and 18% against Denver. I love the Olay shoulder tackle late in the game against Denver. That was one of my favorite plays. But again, this is a guy that not only can he stop and cannot prevent someone from catching the ball, for the last 2 games, he has been missing people with catching the ball. There's something, we've said it before, there's something very, very wrong here. Like I said, the missed tackle percentage on this team is inconceivable. It really is. And especially for this secondary. And we don't want to talk about that because then we would have to talk about Tyler. We would have to then talk about, which I forgot to talk about, Tyler Nubin's missed tackle percentage. Tyler Nubin's missed tackle percentage is 13.6%. He had 0% in the New Orleans game and the Philly games. But before that, his missed tackle percentage per game was 14%, 20%, 16%, 20%, and 20% against the Denver Broncos. It makes you want to vomit. So you can blame Shane Bowen for a lot of things, but you cannot blame Shane Bowen for players not making tackles. It's disgusting to watch at times. And I don't know. We're not even getting into Deonte Banks yet. But it's one of those things that you look at this and you're like, the secondary is bad, but the secondary is tremendously bad. And you have guys that are playing these key positions for long periods of time. We're going to get into Paulson Adebo too. We are going to, because we're going to have to, and I don't want to because I've already looked at the numbers for Paulson Adebo, and they're ugly. The only one, and it's funny, that's playing at somewhat a high level, but still giving up chunks of yards is Cordell Flott. He's only the league is only completing 19 to 38 passes against him, but for over 200 yards and 10.5 yards of completion. I guess that's a good thing. And I have to give Cordell Flott credit. His missed tackle percentage so far this year is 0.0. So Cordell Flott is really the only one that's playing up to any level of consistency. Should we talk about Paulson Adebo? I don't really want to. The $54 million man, $36 million guaranteed, 6'1", 192 pounds. Taking third round overall, 76th overall in the 2021 draft. He was going to be this guy that came in. He was that lockdown corner. He was that guy that was going to stop everything. He was going to be the anchor to this defensive secondary. Of course, then he broke his leg in 2024. And it wasn't even a fracture, wasn't even a strain, wasn't even a hairline. It was a complete break. The league will tell you sometimes it takes a year or 2 to come back from this injury if players come back at all. The majority of the teams in this league, when they had the free agent depth chart in regards to corners, he wasn't even on the corner. He wasn't even on the board. And I love it because most people in the league said 2 years, $20 million max for this kid. Give him $10 million guarantee, a player out in 2026, and then you re-sign him again. No, the Giants and Joe Shane is infinite wisdom. We're going to give him 54-36 guaranteed. Because he's the player. We don't want to play no more. He's that big time. He's that big time player. Oh, dear Lord. Do we want to talk about Paulson Adebo's missed tackle percentage, which is only 7.7%, but he gave up 20%, 25%, and 20% over the last 3 games. But the league is completing 35 or 55% of the passes against them But the good news is it's only for 65%. But the bad news is it's for 418 yards. It's Pearl Harbor all over again. It's giving up 11.9 yards per completion. This guy is Pearl Harbor written all over him. Philadelphia picked on him like he stole something. Jalen Hurts was 7 for 10 against this kid. Like he stole something, they picked on him. Has the propensity of giving up the big play. Is he that venerable tackling machine? No. And you look at him and you're just like, oh, dear Lord, how much more of this can we take? This is a guy that, yes, has again, this is what I love about this team. This is a guy that has 48 tackles, but the problem is this. When you give up that many percentage in reference to completion, 41% of those tackles are solo, which is great, which is, again, means you're not preventing anyone from catching the ball. I know it is a crazy thought process to do that, but hey, let's have this ability to maybe, I don't know, stop someone from catching the ball. It's crazy. It's nutty. It's full of Fruit Loops. I can't leave without talking about my favorite player, Dane Belton. Dane Belton is another one who he can't tackle. He can't cover. And his limited playing time, the league is 12 for 16 for 75% completion percentage for 120 yards at 10.7 and 2 touchdowns. Oh my God. I have to give him credit again. Like I said, he doesn't miss tackles. He's got a 0.000 missed tackle percentage. The only problem is he is making the tackle after the catch. You take a look at what you just take a look at this Giant team and you just take a look at this secondary and you take a look at I mean, like I said, this secondary was supposed to be the most talented secondary in the world, but we're not even going to get into Deonte Banks because I don't know if I want to make myself sick because his serendipitous drop is almost as big as the drop that we've seen from Holland. And we're not even going to get into Holland either. Because once again, I don't want to make myself sick. But Deonte Banks, I mean, you want to talk about a poster child for just a total collapse. It just doesn't make sense how he played so well as that lockdown corner, especially at 6'2", 200 pounds. We traded up in one spot to get him 24th. But this is a guy now that can't even, this is a guy now. If you want to talk about a change of scenery guy, this is that guy. He went from playing 84 to 88% of the snaps to only 29% of the snaps. He is a guy that last year was bad. This year is worse. The league in his limited period of time is completing 70% of their passes for 118 yards and 2 touchdowns. He literally is a accident waiting to happen. But like I said, so is Drew Phillips. But somehow Drew Phillips gets a pass, and I kept going back and watching that Drew Phillips missed shoulder tackle at the end of the game last week, and I literally wanted to fucking vomit. I think I did vomit a little bit in my mouth because it was just so putrid. It's like, you guys are NFL players. You are paid to make these big plays. You are paid to tackle, to wrap up, not to throw a shoulder. You are paid. We will say in reference to coverage in Holland, he's only 10 for 15 for 67.7% for 127 yards. And the league only is averaging 12.7 yards of completion to get him. So you know what? He's a stellar guy. Blame Shane Bowen. Blame Brian Dable. Blame them all. But who you really need to blame is that guy in the mirror. The guy that's got to get off Ozempic because we want Fat Dable back is Joe Shane. Because he put together a salary cap. He put together this collection of talent. He put it together. So, yes, people want to go out and get all these big-name wide receivers. They're not doing it because of the fact they don't have any cap space. We were negative almost $900,000 before the 4.5. You need cap space to sign a kicker. You need cap space to move people off the practice squad. It's called operational cap space. We've talked about it before. You're going to have to do a lot of mighty restructuring to get someone like Waddle. So let's waddle on out of here.
Think you going to get away with it. Not up in here.
Not up in here.
Oh, we're gonna try to do some more videos during the week because they're a lot of fun. I want to thank the Mighty FanDuel. Of course, the show is presented by the Mighty FanDuel. Like, subscribe, ring that bell, all that fun shit, and I'm out of here.